Eric, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Eric.
Awesome.
I think we should be all set here. It's about a minute. We'll get going. Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Derek Eklum over here at Foundation Software. I've got myself along with my coworker, Eric Vitardi. He's going to be helping us out today on these our client sales webinar. And for those of you that are joining us here this afternoon that haven't attended too many of these, or maybe it's been a little while since you've done one of these are designed to be kind of relatively short, kind of overview webinars covering some of the additional products that we have. And what we'll do is we'll kind of go through just an overview presentation, turn it over to you guys for any questions, and like always, if there's things that you missed or you wanted to kind of do a deeper dive or kind of set up a time to do a one-on-one call to, set up a demonstration kind of custom for your situation there, we are more than happy to do so. So with that being said, the topic for today, as you can see here on my screen, is our HQSuite. It's our all-in-one construction management software. It's a newer software. It's been out for about a couple of years. We've probably only been doing marketing for the last year or so. It's been this product has been in development now for about 6 years now, believe it or not. I'll kind of switch over to the main menu for that, but yeah, this is a web-based project management platform. Really, like the prior slide kind of showed, it's an all-in-one type of software. There's document management, there's scheduling, there's safety tracking, there's field reporting, and we're just going to continue to add more and more to this as time goes by. And I guess effectively, if you've been with us for a while, you might be aware of our project management module in Foundation or our scheduling module that's in Foundation. And those have been good modules over the years, but they've been around for 15, 20 years now. So they're definitely dated. They're part of the software. So a lot of the feedback that we got from our existing customers putting this whole platform together is it had to be something that was web-based. They wanted something that was newer technology, easy to use, intuitive, so that it is kind of separate from the accounting system, yet at the same time, it communicates and talks to Foundation. So this product checks all those boxes, and it's been doing really well here so far for us. So with that being said, I'll kind of jump in. Like I said, this will be more of a short overview type of demonstration, and then from there we can always get into some of the details if you'd like on a follow-up call. We're more than happy to do so. But the screen that you guys are all looking at here, this is Project HQ, basically the HQSuite. So this is more of an overview page. And this part of the platform I'm going to talk about here before I turn it over to Eric covers Project HQ, Executive HQ, and Crew HQ. So what exactly are those three items? So Project HQ is a document management software. So that's the one that kind of is close to the old project management module, except the fact that this is newer technology, web-based, all those things I kind of just mentioned. And then there's Executive HQ, which is reporting, and then there's Crew HQ, which is scheduling and labor dispatching. So the overview page, just like it sounds, it's designed to be more of an overview for a project manager or somebody along those types of lines. So they can see their most recent jobs, documents, an overview of the schedule, what action items either they or their team members have, and then just weather conditions out there. And then down the left-hand side, the main part that I'm going to turn my focus to here today is this projects right here. So this is where you can realistically do 95+% of what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. So this will pull up a list of all of your active jobs, and there's all kinds of widgets up top here that are helpful, whether it's keyword searches, filtering tools, ways to run lists and logs, and those are consistent really throughout the platform. But the idea is you can select a job, and then that will bring you to an overview page, a dashboard, narrowed down to just this Lake County Trust rebuild job right here. And I can also flip to a different job too. It's easy to navigate, so easy to pick up this whole system. But there's items here such as daily logs, There's a schedule overview, emails. So these would be my most recent emails. And of course, with this platform, it allows you to email directly out of here. It would either connect to your home email like Outlook or Gmail, or you can, if you wanted to, you can always ignore that, and Project HQ can just create an email for you. Documents, action items, weather conditions. So similar to that front screen that we looked at, but now this is just kind of narrowed down in scope to we're just looking at this Lake County Trust rebuild job. And then down the left-hand side here is the toolbar, just kind of walking down the other, just so you guys are you're aware of what other features are out there. Details, this would be the same type of information that would be found on the job maintenance record in Foundation. Actually, if you look way over to the right, that's a Foundation logo. That just lets you know that, hey, this job is in both systems. And integration's a big plus when it comes to this platform. So this communicates with your Foundation database. It'll pull over jobs from Foundation. In addition to that, it'll pull over vendors, customers, employees, make those your contacts. It can pull over equipment items, inventory items, if you have those modules in Foundation. It can pull over cost codes and cost classes. That, of course, comes into play all throughout different entries and job budgets. So it does populate a lot of the main entries. And going the other direction, I'll kind of talk about this moving through the toolbar here. You get into things like change orders, AIAs, purchase orders, subcontracts. So it does, allow operations and accounting to kind of keep everything all in one space, basically, communicate back and forth. Details and resources, may jump out to here. So schedules, so this would be the Crew HQ part of the platform. So this is where you can schedule tasks to your projects, assign resources. Those resources can receive email or text notifications. So here's a list of all of your jobs. I've got my tasks here. I can kind of hover over those and kind of see the details. I can also view this differently if I wanted to run this and say, hey, where are all my employees? Or maybe you want to see where equipment items are, or contacts. Some different ways to view this. And then going into a task, you have basic information on the general page. Here's where it'll have the location of the task, resources. So this is where it can pull employees, other contacts, equipment items, material items to schedule out, different notes, different custom fields. So yeah, just kind of assigning all of your resources to these tasks. And then up in the top here, a kind of neat little feature, this is newer, is the ability to pull up a map view for your tasks. So that can be helpful if maybe you needed some extra manpower and you needed to pull it from one job. Let's see who's around. I can kind of grab, from that crew over there to allocate to this job over here type of thing. But yeah, that's kind of the main idea behind the Crew HQ part of the platform, being able to schedule out your tasks and resources, and from there it'll send out notifications. Underneath the schedule part of the toolbar, just a list of your team members. This pulls from your global contact list. And then underneath that, there's a section for work management. This is a section that you're first going to see being able to create different types of documents. And the first one here is kind of simple, kind of basic, but for a lot of companies, it's pretty important. It's being able to create action items. So these are just kind of your assignments, if you will, out to different team members. And then these can always be duplicated, because a lot of times these are the same project after project after project. So a way to kind of create and keep tabs of those there. The newest feature to the platform here are these AIAs. So this is the first area that we're walking up to that can actually integrate and push back into Foundation. So the idea is that your project managers or whoever that's using this on the go, they can create the schedule values. Like if I hop into here, they can populate this. This can actually pull in from the job budget or pull in from your Foundation database too. But they can create the schedule values and then create, if I kind of flip over to the applications from here, they can create the applications entering in the dollar amounts or the percent completes. They can print this, email it out, and then yeah, they can sync this, push this into Foundation. So that's a big feature. Came out about a month ago, maybe a little bit less. Daily logs, talked about that up front on the main overview screen, but I guess a different way to get to the same place right here. And then documents, these are more I guess, just more, non-accounting related job documents, so like RFIs, submittals, user-defined documents. This is where you can create any type of document you might need to out there. And then lastly, there's an area here called punch lists. This is where you can create your checklists, assign them out. These you can also duplicate. Actually, most of the documents throughout here you can duplicate project to project, just to help cut down on the mundane data entry there. So that's your work management section. And then cost management gets into budget information, which that'll pull right out of Foundation's database. So all the same terminology in detail. Change order management, I'll tell you this, along with that AIA feature that we just saw, are the two most popular features that are in the platform. So this is another one that allows your folks out in the field to create these, manage these, email them out, negotiate back and forth, and then when the time is right, these can push back into Foundation. But it's all the detail, all the coding, so you can go in and start with a request for change and fill out all the details, fill out the scope of work, how does that need to be allocated across the budget, emailed out again for negotiating back and forth, and then hopefully you hear back that it's marked as approved, which then allows you to convert that to an actual change order. And then once it's an actual change order, then you can actually push that into Foundation. And for all of these entries too, for those of you who might be wondering, hey, does this just automatically push into Foundation? Somewhat. So it does, but it requires somebody on the accounting side to run a list and kind of okay it, because probably the last thing you want is somebody on the PM side just entering in change orders, and even if they weren't trying anything mischievous, they were maybe just hit an extra couple of zeros that could potentially throw off your WIP schedules and other reports there. So it does always require somebody on the accounting side to review and okay before it actually pulls in. But change order management, and then committed costs, another big area here that also communicates back to Foundation, purchase orders, subcontracts, again, all the details from cost codes, cost classes, inventory items. If you get into purchase orders, those are all available too. And then the last section down here is collaboration. So this is kind of a one-stop shop when it comes to documents, pictures, files, and emails. So kind of like a digital filing cabinet, I guess you could say. So this is where you can see all of these. You can always attach a picture or drawing throughout the different documents here in the platform. This is maybe just a easy way to get to this. You can do a keyword search, things like that. And then the mailbox, like I mentioned, all the emails. There's a keyword search here. You can always filter by document type as well. So that's more the document management part of the platform. And then the other part, before I'll turn it over to Eric and kind of see right here for Safety HQ, is Executive HQ. So this is the job cost reporting part of the platform. And of course, it pulls all the data directly out of your Foundation database. And I guess it's the same concept as the rest of the platform, where it allows your PM and other like employees to do what they need to do and retrieve the information they need to retrieve without having to log into Foundation or bug the accounting team. So this will show, at least on the front page, more summary information. Here up top are the grand totals, and then down below in the bottom half would be more of a percent complete over/under type report. And you can filter any of these columns out here, but from here, you can drill into a job, and then it'll pull up a nice dashboard. You can kind of see the colors and the different charts and graphs. Definitely looks better than anything you might find on the Foundation side. Again, that's attributable to this being newer technology, web-based, all that type of stuff. But the idea is you can review, again, grand total information for the project, but then from these different charts and graphs, and certainly down from this variance report at the bottom, it allows you to get into more detail. Even if I wanted to say, hey, what's this masonry number right here? We're getting close to the end of the job, but we might know in the back of your head that you're really only halfway done or something like that. You can always drill into that cost code, and then it pulls up a detail report where you can see everything that's going on, right down to employee detail. So that's the idea here with the Executive HQ. So again, I guess kind of do a little recap. This side of the HQ suite is Project HQ, Executive HQ, and Crew HQ. Project HQ is document management, Executive HQ is reporting, and then Crew HQ is scheduling and labor dispatching. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Eric. Are you there, Eric? Can you hear us?
I'm there. I'm here, I should say. Yeah.
All right, let me stop my screen and I'll change. And you should be able to go ahead and take over from here.
Yeah. Are you able to see me now?
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate it. So from Derek to Eric, I appreciate you guys hanging on and taking a look at Safety HQ, the newest member of the HQ family here. So while it's new to us, this software has been around for a little bit. This was an acquisition earlier this year from it's from an established safety software company, and developed specifically for the construction trade. So you'll notice a lot of these items in here. You're not getting a lot of the other details from other places and parts, focused in specifically on construction and the needs that you guys will have from trade to trade, or for those GCs out there that have some needs as well. So as we go through here, Derek mentioned pretty well that this is just really intended to give you a high level overview. It's going to be tough to get into all these features in about 15 minutes or so, but I'll do my best to at least give you a feel for some of the things that Safety HQ has to offer. But again, we would encourage you take another couple extra minutes, jump on for a full demo if you are interested in how this would particularly work for you individually or your company. But Safety HQ, progressive web app, so we can download this onto any one of our devices, whether that be Apple, iPhone, Android. If it's on a tablet, we're on the laptop here today, so you'll see pretty much the same experience, but pretty nice to keep in mind that we can use this kind of wherever our safety needs are coming from. So we have a number of features in here. I think it's worth mentioning here from a Toolbox Talk side, since these seem to be one of the most common features amongst all of our clients. Everybody's doing something along the lines of tailgate talks or Toolbox Talks. It's really easy to get in. You can go ahead and share this out with crew. You can schedule Toolbox Talks in advance. So if you want to schedule out what the rest of December looks like from a Toolbox Talk perspective, set it and forget it. Come December 19th at 6:30, all my foremen are going to get a notification that they are to give a Toolbox Talk on backing vehicles. So really nice to be able to go in, assign out, send notifications to people so that they can complete things like Toolbox Talks. But one of the items that you'll notice in here is the ability to capture signatures, capture photos. In this case, especially with the Toolbox Talks, I'll give a little scribble here and select my employee. We can select all of our attendees that are on Toolbox Talks, and we can do this throughout the software, right? So if we're doing JHAs, maybe an inspection and we want to collect some signatures and things like that, we certainly can. You'll notice this icon up at the top here. This will let us translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to English. So for those that, their team is dual language, we can certainly accommodate for those folks as well. But what's really nice when we get into the details outside of the Toolbox Talks and the functionality of, being able to see and set rules of who's completed their Toolbox Talks, who's fallen behind, what dates they've done them at. I can notify the team right from here, say, hey, you guys need to jump on top of your Toolbox Talks. Maybe it's a JHA, we have that same reporting feature, a JHA, JSA, we need to notify the team that they need to complete their Toolbox Talk that they've been falling behind on, or their JHA or what have you. We have all of these reports in one area, and similar to these Toolbox Talks, we collect all of the completed forms on the cloud, ready and accessible for you at any point. So we're talking Toolbox Talks. We can jump in here, sort this by the project, sort this by the topic, anything that we need here on the right. And since we're talking about sorting by project, worth mentioning that if you are using Foundation software, your jobs and employees will sync in automatically from your Foundation database using the Foundation API. So saves you a lot of time, effort on the dual entry for the project side and the employees. And then again, we can use that project as a filter, whether it be on Toolbox Talk to see completed items, or if we want to do it on some of the other forms that we have in here as well. Speaking of the other forms, this is another huge component of the software. These forms are fully customizable. So I'll leave this tray open just to give you an idea of some of the things that we can create in here. But to keep in mind as a whole, the big things are that these are customizable. If you have a JHA that maybe your GC requires you to use, or that you guys have been using for a long time and you know the guys are pretty comfortable with it, not a problem. You send that to us. We will customize it, build that form in here just to your specs. You don't have to worry about any additional cost that's included in the program. So really nice to have some of those features and have this customized to exactly some of the items that you may need. But while we're here, let's take a good example, or take a look at a good example here. I'm selecting that project again out of Foundation. I'll pick it. It's nice and cold here in Ohio today. I'll pick a couple of key items. I'll pick some tasks that I'm working on for the day. And you'll notice when I go through for my hazard types, it's going to give me an area to select some more specific items. So, you know, maybe we're dealing with some environmental today. We're not burdening the group with a really large form, most of which they're not going to use. So based on what they've selected is going to determine what we show them either on A, on the hazard piece, or B, on the controls. So if we go in here and look at these controls, it's really nice to go ahead and say, hey, you know, we've limited down to what they're working with on the site, you know, that day, that week, whatever. Keep them nice and focused, you know, don't hammer them with too much work. Get them really specific. You can collect those signatures down here, as I mentioned before. But the really nice part is because this is a mobile app, we can go ahead and snap a photo on the site. I'm selecting one from my library because I'm on my laptop. But not only can you select that or take a photo really quickly to add into, say, a JHA or an inspection, whether that be an equipment inspection or a site inspection, you name it. We can also mark these up pretty easily as well. So I'm pointing to a particular hazard over here. Easy for the team to do that. Add it on, collect a signature just as I did on the Toolbox Talks. And then from there, you can review these at any time. Just as I mentioned, if you want to sort this by project, if you want to sort this by who submitted it, what have you, you have all those filters here on the right. You still have that same reporting here on the right-hand side to give you all the details on who's been doing what. And then, like I said, if you need to jump in quickly and review one, you have that. And then you can also PDF and share this. We'll pull this up because this looks a little bit better than this rough draft version here. But if I need to share this, email this off to somebody, that's of no concern either. I can certainly pull that up, customized with your name and logo. And it's got all the details that you might need in here as well. So pretty nice, pretty easy to manage. Again, there's things that we can do as far as setting off automatic notifications if we find some issues on, say, an equipment inspection. There's things that we can do in here to track our SDSs. So we can go in here, pull up any SDS that we might need, share it with the team, have it in one accessible location so that they can, they always have these present and available to them. There's things that we can do from certifications and in-house lessons. We can train the team on things like, in this case, hazardous materials, assign this out to the team, require them to take a quiz, make sure that they're paying attention and following through on some of these details. And then we can go ahead and manage our certifications from there. So if I want to go ahead and manage either on an individual basis, you know, see how they're doing with a QR code, with an email, I have this all in one place to show a particular person's certifications. And then we can also track and see, hey, who's expiring on, say, you know, whose forklift certification's coming up in the near future. Okay, we got the test user. He's going to be coming up at the beginning of December. So there's a whole bunch that we can show. As I mentioned, you know, this is just really top level, especially on the certifications, the lessons, and the forms as a whole. But plenty of other things that we can do in here. We have a document storage library. We can track equipment maintenance, tags, inspection logs, all the things that we might need from that side. And then we have things like incident reporting. We can automatically route things as soon as an incident's occurred, automatically routed to, say, HR or the safety team, you know, once somebody from the field submits it. And then we have automated reporting throughout here to let us know how we're doing, maybe if we have some leading indicators of some safety concerns or what have you. And then that also goes through with some corrective actions. If we go ahead and have maybe an inspection for a site and we assign out corrective actions for people to complete, we also have a summarized version of those as well. So it's a pretty intensive solution. There's a lot out here. It's really easy to use, really compact, so it pulls all those things into one area for you, which is the most important piece. But I do encourage you, if you do see any of these items that you like, or if there's a couple of pieces in here that really grab your attention, certainly reach out. I'd love to give you a full demo and we can get into the specifics, because I know, especially with safety, everybody does things a little bit differently. So depending on how you do things, this is a flexible software that can most likely meet your needs. So certainly reach out. Would love to show you in depth. And I think that's all I got, Derek. So I don't know if you have anything else for the group today.
No, I think we're all set. I'd turn over to our audience here. We'll wait on a couple minutes and see if there's any questions. There should be a little area to type in your questions there. So yeah, we'll hang on for a moment. And yeah, I guess if you do have questions on the Project HQ, Executive HQ, Crew HQ side, just feel free to reach out to myself. This is Derek at 1-800-246-0800. My extension here is 7181. Email, you guys probably all have that by now, but it's dke@foundationsoft.com. And Eric, do you want to let them know how to contact you in case they're interested on the safety side of things?
Yeah. You can find me in either way, right? If you have to reach out to Foundation, just ask for Safety HQ. You'll find your way to me anyway. But if you want to go a little bit more direct, EDV Echo Delta Victor at foundationsoft.com, 800-246-0800, extension 370. You can reach me. And again, if you just mention that you're looking for more info on Safety HQ, we'll find a way to connect one way or the other.
Yeah. And if you are interested in pricing, it does vary a little bit depending on where you're coming from on the Foundation side, somewhat on the user side. So I did just see somebody did have a question on pricing. So we'll jot down your information and we'll be sure to reach out to you and follow up with you on how the pricing works on these.
Yep, and the same would go for the Safety HQ side too, Derek. It's going to vary by your total headcount. We don't price by individual user on the Safety HQ side. We price it, based on your company as a whole and for one all-in monthly cost. So we can figure that out based on what kind of modules you're using and the details that are specific to you. But yeah, certainly reach out and be happy to get you that information.
All right. Well, I think everybody's all set. And if anybody needs anything, just feel free to reach out. I'm sure even if you forget our names and our information, if you're just asking about our HQ suite, you'll end up talking with one of us. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, all.